Mark and Paulette here, the two travelers in Mexico. How's the hair? The hair good? Just asking. Because Paulette seems to think I look like a Dutch boy, which she claims that's not her fantasy, but as much as she brings it up, I think there's a little something to that there.
Actually, there's not. But when his hair starts getting longer, it like starts hanging, and it looks like that little Dutch boy kind of a thing. So he's not sure what he's doing right now with his hair, so whatever.
In my defense, I'm never sure what I'm doing with my hair. All right, so on to today's subject. We are going to talk about some soft landing spots for expats while Paulette examines the bottom of her teacup.
Paul D'Arco. Nice hot tea. It's overcasty, kind of gloomy today.
Yep. So the first place we are going to talk about, and maybe one of Paulette's favorites still, is Queretaro.
Queretaro.
So
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about your love for Queretaro.
Well, first of all, when Mark and I came out here in 2018, well, that was one of the places that we visited, and I loved it. It's a great, like Mark said, all these places we're going to talk about are soft landings for expats coming out here where you don't have to worry so much about the language barrier.
There's a lot more English spoken.
A lot more English spoken there, and they are becoming expat havens if they're not already.
Yeah.
So I thought we were going to go in alphabetical order, but we'll start with like just about the last one and work our way back.
Sounds good.
So yeah, so Queretaro was one of my favorite places. I like it. I think it's got a lot to offer. It is really expanding in this last year, maybe more than the last year, but they're doing a lot of road construction, tearing down a lot of the overpasses. It's kind of a bear to drive through right now because of all that's going on. But I like it. I think it's a nice place. Of course, it's not where we ended up living, but I think it's a great place for a soft landing. Queretaro has, in a lot of the residential areas, I would say on the narrower side of sidewalks, some you can get two people next to each other. A lot of the streets are like that, not cobblestone. Is it cobblestone or is it just like that brick?
It's like cement pavers.
I don't know. Which can be
tricky at times.
Tricky, yeah, at times to walk on, but not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, it's got a lot of parks. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
Sorry, today my voice is going in and out. It does that from time to time.
No adjustment of your TV is necessary.
Right. Right. It's just me. No adjustment of your TV. That's right.
So I would say that Queretaro has got something to offer for just about everyone. It's got an amazing Centro Histórico, which I really like, and there's a lot of older architecture there, older like Baroque style architecture, and it's expanding in every direction outside. If you want to live in a more modern place, there's all kinds of communities that are going in there that are nearing completion or already completed. Our friends Jonathan and Adam live in Zakia, which is a really big community there.
Yeah, I don't know how big of a community it is. Maybe if one of you guys are watching it, you could tell us. But it's a gated community, and
well, there's like several gated communities
right,
there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
it's gated communities. Really nice area outside of where they live. A lot of restaurants and go-to places, I think.
Very walkable.
Yeah, very walkable. They live by a little lake area.
Yeah.
It's very pretty. They're probably about 20 minutes, I would guess. 20 minutes to Central Historical, wouldn't you guess that?
Yeah, at best,
Maybe half an
hour,
hour, depending on the traffic.
Yeah.
But that's really an up and coming area for a lot of people.
And it is closer to the airport.
Is it? I don't know that. Where they live is closer to the airport?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then again, there's Central Historical, you know, where you can never go wrong to me in a Central Historical area. Prices might be a little bit higher, but I think it's a great choice.
Yeah.
I really do. I think, this is just my guess, that it's going to be like a smaller Mexico City. It's going to be beautiful, I think, when they're done. Yeah, so, and there's malls.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things there, a lot of shopping places, there's La Comer, there's, I don't know if there's an HEB, that I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But
There's a couple of malls.
yeah, and in the newer areas, they tend, I think, to be upscale malls.
Yeah,
So.
probably a Home Depot. Yeah, I think there is
There
a
is a Home Depot, yeah. But I mean, there's so much more than that.
Yeah,
So,
and the bus terminal isn't too far out either. So I think it's a good plus. If I were going to rate things, what do you want to rate them? Like 1 to 10?
yeah,
I'd probably say, what would you give it? Go ahead.
a solid 9.
I'd give it a solid 9 too. It's really becoming a well-known area for expats.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I told him to open this at the beginning and have his list handy. But did he do it? No. All right, so we're going to work our way from the Z's to the A's. What's next?
Okay, well, if you want to,
We started with Queretaro,
right,
so work your way.
there's,
Okay, so the next letter would be O.
I don't have them in any particular order.
Well, I'm going from Q, working our way to A,
Okay,
right?
so that would be
O would be next. M-N-O. O.
PQR.
Where do you have a P? You
I
don't
don't.
have anything that
I
starts
don't.
with a P.
But after that,
O is the next letter.
okay, O comes before
Oh,
Q.
no, S.
Thank you.
S.
Yeah, that's staying in there,
Well,
right?
his font
Only the part where you
You're-
admit the mistake.
His font is like an 8. I mean, come on, why didn't you make it like a 12 or something?
It's an 11.
That's an
Just,
11?
Yep. All right,
Well, move it a little bit closer then.
to you.
To me.
Because you're old and can't see.
Well, who's got the glasses on? That's right.
I do.
Okay.
You should, apparently.
I don't have a problem seeing like this. I have a problem seeing far.
Yeah, okay.
You're far-sighted, you
All
can't
right.
see near. I'm nearsighted, I can't see far.
All right,
All right,
moving on.
Next is San Miguel de Allende.
That is, I think for a lot of people, that is an expat haven because you literally can get by with almost no Spanish there.
And I think in Queretaro probably too.
Yeah, possibly. San Miguel, it's beautiful. I get the attraction there. I see why people like it. There's a lot of older buildings, beautifully painted.
It's got that whole Baroque, beautiful
Baroque style. Yeah, it's got.
cobblestone streets or the pavers. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's that hard to walk
Yeah.
on streets in
Yeah.
a lot of areas.
Got Boogan-
Narrow sidewalks, that I'll give it. Narrow sidewalks.
Got
One
Boogan-
person per person.
Got bougainvillea growing everywhere, which is a plant that we really like. It's really is a beautiful artistic city.
It is. It is.
There are some cons to it, though. You do a lot of uphill walking, downhill walking.
Right. So if
it's-
somebody is disabled or have a problem with that, could be a real issue.
Yeah, because the sidewalks are narrower and the streets are a little rougher to walk on. But it is a beautiful city if you're in good shape and you can handle it financially because it may be the most expensive place that we're going to talk about today on this video, because things are just expensive there. You can pay $1,000 or $1,200 for one room in a house a month. Restaurants are more expensive there.
And I think it is because it is such a big expat haven. They can draw the prices up higher, and people are willing to pay it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about San Miguel that you can think of?
There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. There's always, there's a lot of galleries there. There's a lot of different things that go on. So there's always going to be, even though it's a smaller place, there's always going to be something to do and something to see there.
And what is the name of that church? The main church in town?
It's got some longer name, but I think it's just the Municipal Church of San Miguel.
I can't think of the name of it.
But
we're always so prepared.
Yeah, it is. That church is breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah, that church is breathtaking, and it's right in the center. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's another expat haven. What would you give it on your scale, 1 to 10?
Well, I think most people would find it to be a 9 or 10, but for me, that's not really the type of community that I would be looking to live in. I would probably be around a 7.
Yeah, probably me too. A 6 or 7. It's not, it attracts a lot of people. It's got a lot going for it. But for Mark and I, probably because it is such a expat haven, it's really not on our high list. So we rated a little bit lower. A 6 or 7 for San Miguel. But again, many people put it up there as a 9 or a 10 easily.
Yeah, and I understand why. It's
a lot of restaurants, a lot of coffee shops.
Yeah.
But it's true. You're either, I think, walking uphill or walking downhill. Nothing like Guanajuato, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Guanajuato's crazy uphill or downhill or steps everywhere. But it's a smaller, quaint place.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I think if somebody likes that smaller atmosphere, I think Queretaro is way bigger as far as walking around and all that sort of stuff too than San Miguel, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, okay. So next up is Oaxaca.
All right.
And Oaxaca is known as an expat haven also. Mark and I visited, these are all the places that we visited, maybe more than once, maybe some of them 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Easily. Oaxaca, we vacationed there for, I don't know how long we were there. The state of Oaxaca for about 3 weeks, I think, altogether. Something like that.
Yeah, at least a couple weeks. I thought it was beautiful myself, too. Again, there's a lot of stuff to do around there. The Centro Historical is beautiful, like pretty much almost all of the places that we're going to talk about here.
Right. Easy walking.
Yeah, there are a lot of artisan communities that are around the city of Oaxaca that you can go check out. Places where they do the Alebrije painting, the black pottery, stuff like that. There's some archaeological sites there that are pretty interesting. There's a town meat law where they specialize in making different types of artisan mezcals. So there's always...
Where's that big tree?
That's in a little town called Tula, I believe is the name of the town.
Yeah, very famous.
Yeah. But again, that's another place that there's a lot to do. There's an artisan community there too. Lots of galleries to go check out.
It's interesting because they're all so similar, but unique in their own ways.
Right.
It's like you have to have your boots on the ground to understand what we're saying,
Mm-hmm.
or watch videos on YouTube on these places to understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a lot of restaurants, things like that, coffee shops, same thing. One thing I wanted to get back to San Miguel for a minute, because I think when you're walking around the streets in San Miguel and stuff like that, it's easy for me to compare it to Central Historical San Luis Potosi. It
Yeah.
resembles a lot of the same features, I think. It's got a lot of the wrought iron on the balconies and things like that. But San Miguel does have a lot more bougainvillea, a lot of beautiful plants hanging from their balconies, just so much more color than San Luis Potosi does. But walking around the central area reminds me a lot of San Luis Potosi, walking around also the historical. So what would you give Oaxaca? What would you say?
I'd be about an 8 for Oaxaca.
Yeah, see, for me, I'm pretty hard nosed here. I'd probably say a 6 or a 7 for me, for Oaxaca.
What number would you give, say, to a person looking for a soft landing in Oaxaca?
Well, again, that's me. But again, I think all these places we're listing are really good locations.
Yeah.
They're very good locations, and they're very good for soft landings. Very good for speaking English. Oaxaca, maybe the English so-so in Oaxaca.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah, I would probably still be around an 8.
Right, but I'm talking as far as Spanish to English speaking there. I would say it's probably still 70% Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
But there are expats there, and that is another good place for soft landing. Okay, so next we have Merida.
Merida. Again, Merida was...
When I say Merida, I always think of hot.
Yeah. And we were there during the coolest time of the year, which was in January, and it was hot and humid.
December, Christmas time.
But Merida, again, I get the attraction there. It's a beautiful city. There's lots of architecture there to look at.
Some of the residential areas, not that I've ever been to New Orleans, but the homes are that New Orleans kind of
French
influence.
Yeah. Not as much as, say, Puebla, I don't think. But
Yeah. What else about Merida? Merida, walking around.
Nice and flat.
It's it's nice and flat, very nice. Lots of shops, lots of restaurants.
I will say that if you're going to stay there for any period of time, at a hotel or Airbnb, try to find a place with a pool. Because it does get hot.
Yeah.
So,
we don't do good with humidity and hot.
Yeah. Well, we came from Sacramento, which, as they say, was a dry heat, though.
Right.
Because we didn't have that much humidity, so 105 in Sacramento really felt like 105 and not 125. So.
Can we take a break so I can get some more tea?
Yeah, break time. Cut.
Okay, and we're back. I had a
Well, she's back. I'm back now.
I had to refill my tea, and Mark had to get his Coca-Cola.
The official drink of Mexico.
That is true.
Coca-Cola.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so Merida is beautiful. I understand why it's an expat haven. If you don't mind the heat and the humidity, that's a great place. It's really pretty. Yeah. For us, not so much because of the heat and because of the humidity, but for me, that's probably again about a 6 or a 7. But it's a easy walkable place, like Oaxaca, I think, on the most part, and Queretaro. San Miguel, I wouldn't put it on the easy walking. What else would you have to say about Merida?
I think that's about it. I would give it about a 7, personally. If you like the heat, if you can take the heat and the humidity, I would be up there like a 9. So.
Okay. All right, and then the next one is Huatulco.
Yep. So Huatulco, again, we were there during the coolest time of the year, and it was still hot and humid. It was, of our list today, it's by far the smallest place.
Yeah.
But there is, again, for a smaller community, there is a large expat population there, both from the U.S. and Canada.
I think that's probably true in a lot of places.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the good thing about Huatulco is it's got plenty of beaches.
Yeah.
Plenty of beaches to stay cool.
Yeah.
Because it's hot.
The area around Huatulco was kind of tropical in a sense. I mean, once you got out from Huatulco, just driving around, you saw it. In a way, it felt more like driving around in Hawaii.
We actually were in Huatulco for, I think, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Something like that, 2.5 weeks. And then we took a taxi from Huatulco into the city of Oaxaca. And that was like driving through the forest pretty much.
Yeah.
And windy roads.
But as far as Huatulco goes, there's a good expat population there. If you didn't know really any Spanish, I think you would still be fine there because so much English is spoken. If you're like an outdoor adventure kind of person, that'd be a good place for you too.
Yeah. And I don't think it's too far either, honey, from what is it, Puerto Escondido or something? What is it called?
It's kind of by there. But if you like to hike and you like the outdoors and nature and stuff, the areas around Huatulco are really nice to check out. Where would you be, like 1 to 10 on that?
Probably about a 6, maybe a 5 or a 6.
Ooh, a little thunder. Yeah.
Well, I know you hear that. I'm asking them if they hear that.
Oh, yeah. So.
I'm saying that because it's pretty small.
Yeah.
And I need something a little bit bigger to stretch my wings.
Yeah.
It's too confined for me, but you know what? A lot of people like stuff like that. They like places where it's a small little town feeling. Yeah. Huatulco is definitely a small town feeling.
And but it is very popular. A lot of expats, like I said, from Canada and U.S. go there. Fred and Cindy are there. They have their own YouTube channel and Facebook page. Life in Huatulco, I think, is the name of it.
I don't remember. I know that they changed it.
So, I think Huatulco, again, if you could take the heat and humidity, that would be a good soft landing spot for
the thing is about Huatulco is you're pretty far out though from, I think, like, that's the other thing for me. Like, I like having my Costco. I like having my Home Depot. I like having stuff like that.
Yeah.
Huatulco, not so much.
Yeah,
Oaxaca, I'm not sure how far it is from the city of Oaxaca, because they're both in Oaxaca. They're in the state of Oaxaca.
Yeah.
But I don't know how far out the nearest place is where you could.
Costco is or something like that. I mean, Huatulco, I think they had like a Shed Valley, which is a pretty big store here in Mexico. Grocery store mostly, but they also sell appliances and electronics
appliances
too.
you could probably buy Besides appliances, you could buy household stuff. I'm sure that you could buy mattresses
Yeah.
and things like that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit, Chedraui is kind of like a Walmart, I would say,
Yeah. Yeah.
if I were going to put it in a category.
And the sounds of Mexico, dogs barking, and a house alarm coming from the
Or a
same
car
house.
alarm, I don't know.
Yeah,
No, that would have been right there. You
Oh,
would have
that's
heard it
true.
a lot louder.
Yeah. Next
Okay,
up,
so-
I would give
Huatulco.
Huatulco about a 7. Okay, next up.
And again, it's a very good place to go
Mm-hmm.
for a soft landing. Huatulco is a smaller community.
Right,
And if you're okay with that, great.
then do it.
Yeah. Last on the list is, we got them combined together, Ajijic / Lake Chapala.
Chapala.
And that is another big expat haven.
Really big, especially Ajijic. We were there, well, I guess it was about almost a year ago now, I think. And it was beautiful. It wasn't too, I didn't think it was too hot or too humid or anything like that. Again, another artsy kind of community. It felt to me a little bit odd that so much English was spoken there. You know, I don't think you would have to know really any Spanish to get by there and be just fine. But that was the thing I noticed. And a lot of English spoken there. Probably heard more English spoken there in the week or so that we were there in the 3.5 years that we'd been in Mexico combined.
There's restaurants, coffee
Yeah.
shops, things like that. It's a smaller community, I think,
Yeah.
Ajijic.
Yeah,
I think it's, here we go again. I would compare probably Ajijic and Huatulco to about the same,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. The streets in Ajijic were a twisted ankle waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Very
they were cobblestone for sure.
Yeah, or just stone set in cement, because they were very bumpy, very ruddy. If you're walking on your feet, it could be treacherous.
And sidewalks were narrow.
Yeah, very narrow.
And that's a big expat haven too.
Uh-huh.
And Lake Chapala.
Chapala had a more Mexican feel to me.
Wait a minute, did they both have the Malecon?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Which is nice. That's a
Yeah.
nice feature.
Yeah, nice to walk along the lake. The Malecons, in both cases, were very nice, very scenic, I would say. Okay, so in Chapala, it felt more Mexican to me. Less English spoken, it seemed to me there, than Ajijic. Me personally, I kind of like Chapala a little bit more than Ajijic. It felt more authentically Mexican to me.
Yeah, I think it's a smaller expat community there. So I would say Ajijic, Lake Chapala, Huatulco, and the city center part of San Miguel are kind of smallish, but really San Miguel would be larger. Ajijic, Lake Chapala, and Huatulco, I'd say, are probably in that smaller community sense, in my opinion. Do you think so too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we're talking about these places, I also keep thinking of Pátzcuaro, which we've been to. And for anybody who's familiar with Pátzcuaro, it's like a smaller community. You can pretty much cover it in a day walking around. And that's kind of becoming an expat community too.
Yeah, that's about, what, an hour, 45 minutes from Morelia?
Outside of Morelia, yeah.
Michoacan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely growing. That's what I'm hearing. It's going to become the next expat haven.
Yeah.
And that's on the smallish side too, I think, in my opinion. Compare it with Ajijic Lake Chapala, and Huatulco.
Yeah.
But you know what? That works for a lot of people. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
Not saying that we're city folks. You know, like, it's not like I would like living in big city areas like Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay, like that would not do it for me. Or I don't know.
Well, it's like where we live in San Luis Potosi. We like conveniences. I mean, we can drive 15 or 20 minutes and be at a Costco or to Home Depot or Sam's Club, Walmart. There are a couple of major shopping malls that are about that
I think there's 4.
distance away. And so for us, having more modern conveniences like that
It's a little bit of drops.
are more important to us than it may be for some other people.
Yeah.
So,
I just need to feel like I've got my, I don't know. And then again, this is just me. I feel like I need my big box stores there when I need to use them. But we definitely support the local mercados, vendors, and things like that also. I don't know. I'm not really a mall person. I like to go there to watch people watch. You know, but I'm really not a mall person per se. But, you know, they are here. They are available. They do have their good side if you need a mall.
yeah.
You know, Sears is there,
Yeah.
right? Sears is very well alive here.
There's other, like Liverpool is another kind of an upper end store here, like Macy's, I
Right,
guess.
and that's in the malls.
And you'll see those around. But, you know, getting back to Chapala, I would probably give that about a 7.5. That would be my rating on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very nice area, and it's really got that feel of living in Mexico,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of the older structures like you
Yeah.
find in San Miguel, like you find in Queretaro, like you find in Merida. You don't
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
It's starting to sprinkle.
Yep. So we got to wrap this
Yeah,
up.
so we're going to wrap this up, but those areas, Ajijic, Lake Chapala, Huatulco, Oaxaca, Merida, San Miguel de Allende, and Queretaro.
Yeah.
Those are all great areas. If you're thinking about those areas at all, they're great areas. San Miguel is the only one that you might have problems walking on.
Well, and Ajijic.
Ajijic, right. I meant because of the hills, you're kind of going
yeah.
up or down.
Yeah.
You know, it's not completely flat. Queretaro, Huatulco, Merida, and Oaxaca, those would be easy walking.
Right.
So I think that's it.
We've covered some expat communities that we've visited. Let us know in the comments below if you want to talk about some of the places that we visited that aren't so like Soft Landing expat friendly, like that we've checked out, and we can sort of summarize those places for you if you'd like in a video.
Right. There's like, what, 32 states here in Mexico, and we've been to 17 so far. So if there's an area that you want us to recover, we've done videos on all the places that we've traveled, starting from 3.5 years ago till now. But if there's anything you want us to touch a little bit more detail on, we can do that. Because I think when we were first starting the videos, we weren't giving like our last impressions and things like that.
Yeah, I know.
And stuff like that. We were just starting out.
And honestly, our videos weren't very good in the beginning.
No, they weren't. But, we tried to bring you Mexico through our eyes. Again, we've said this so many times. This channel is more for those wanting to learn about Mexico, maybe vacationing and want to find out more, and those that are going to be retiring in Mexico.
Yep.
We try to share a lot of information with you guys to help you along, I guess you could say.
All right. So water's not good for electronics, so
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. As always, from the two travelers in Mexico.
what she did. Bye.
Thunder.
Thunder rolls.
Bye, guys.